worldwide on RadioOnFire.com and the Radio on Fire app.
Welcome back. Your man Dominic K in here, Dominic K in the morning on the all-new RadioOnFire.com. Here in the program, we deliver the biggest political and trending news stories of the day with interviews and original reporting from across the country, emanating from our studios in Baltimore and Atlanta. Show is fun, show is upbeat, but I also want to expose what is really happening in this country. Radio on Fire is Black voices giving you the American story. New episodes of the program drop daily, 8 a.m., but I don't want you to miss any of our live broadcasts. In addition to our 8 a.m. program, we drop content throughout the day as news happens. And in this day and age that we live in, that could be at any point in time. So much going on, so much to get into. Make sure you hit that notification bell, as we definitely want to keep you up to date with what we have going on. So today I'm going to talk about PPP loans. Dominic in the morning, also available anywhere you get your podcast: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, WRF Radio, RadioOnFire.com, the Radio on Fire app will be launching this summer, so definitely check that out as well. So, as I said, we're going to talk about PPP loans. And I wanted to really dive into this because I see so many people that I know with businesses, some without businesses, and we really need to dive in to the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP. So the Paycheck Protection Program is a loan designed to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on payroll. That is what it is for, to keep workers on payroll. So who qualifies for this PPP loan? Any small business with 500 or fewer employees may be eligible. This includes small businesses, S Corps, C Corps, LLCs, private, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, tribal groups, veterans groups. These are the type of businesses that qualify for this. So you may ask, why is he talking about this? We know about this. Like, why is he going into this? I see so many people have gotten into this, what I'm calling a PPP trap. A trap. So the Paycheck Protection Program is a loan designed to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on payroll. Borrowers may be eligible for a PPP loan forgiveness. So, you may wonder if you have to pay this back because it says loan. It has a loan attached to the name. So when you commonly think of a loan, this is something that you get for a period of time, and then you are expected to return funds. Sometimes, most times, with interest. The only way you will have to pay back all or part of a PPP loan is if you don't use it for the specific items outlined. If you don't use it for payroll. Specific. Initially, no more than 25% of the forgiven amount could be used to cover non-payroll costs. If you wanted your PPP loan completely forgiven, so that is something that I want to really dive into. You're supposed to be using it. It's a paycheck protection. You're supposed to be using it to cover the expenses of your payroll. Now, there are exceptions, obviously, but I mean, I see people taking trips. I see people buying luxury cars. I see people putting a down payment on a house. I see a lot of different things. And I don't want people to get caught up in it. I don't want this to come back later when they start auditing people and then you're running into trouble because you misused the PPP loan. I don't want that to happen to folks. And depending on the size of the PPP loan, it could result in a $5 million fine and up to 10 years in prison. 18 USC 1343 wire fraud. So if you're doing this wrong and they catch you, this could be something that resulted in a fine or prison. So the fast money is not always the best example. It's not always the best example. So I just want to make sure that folks understand this. So it is something that, a lot of people have done. They're filling out the applications and then they get approved by the SBA. And then they're receiving a disbursement from the lender in a couple of days, 2 weeks, 10 days, stuff like that. And the deadline, the original deadline to apply for the PPP loan under the ARPA was March the 31st of 2021. However, the PPP Extensions Act was passed by Congress and the president signed it into law March the 30th, which extended the deadline to apply for the PPP loan to May the 31st of 2021. So that's what it is. If you applied for a PPP loan, people were in the money, right? They were excited, and all of that. But my thing is that I just want people to be safe. I want people to be smart, and I want people to operate inside of the law when it comes to this money. So if let's say that you are getting unemployment and you received a PPP loan, you would need to report that money, the money that you receive from the PPP, as income on your state's unemployment, the form, right? You need to report that money. That will likely render you ineligible for unemployment. But once you spend your PPP, you could go back on unemployment if your business still isn't open. So it's a real fuzzy line. It's a real fuzzy line. PPP and unemployment, the two programs are not compatible with each other. You can apply for both programs, but you cannot collect funds from both programs at the same time. I understand that it's all over the place, right? I understand that. But there are rules, like anything, there are rules. There are rules to this, and understand this. Just like with money, I don't know if you remember, there was a time when folks were claiming other people's kids on their taxes. Claiming other people's kids on their taxes, and then they were giving some money for these kids, right? These are your dependents. You claim these kids and you got the money. Boom, got the money, spent the money. And then a strange thing happened later on. You spent the money, you forgot about that money, moved forward. Then you got audited. A lot of people got audited. And then when you got audited, they wanted information that you provided. Oh, remember you said you claimed this kid 10 months ago, a year ago? We're going to need some extra information about that kid. We need this, we need this, we need that. You done forgot all about that kid. You know, and you got audited, and then you had to pay that money back plus a fine. Did that happen to any of you? I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Happened to a lot of people. I don't want this to happen to you now with the PPP loan, because we're talking about more money. We're talking about a lot more money than when you were just claiming a kid as a dependent that was one of your friends or something like that. There are rules for this PPP loan. There are rules. Just like anything, it's rules. So you are entitled to use the PPP loan to replace lost compensation due to the impacts of COVID-19. You are eligible to claim 2.5 months, 2.5 months worth of your 2019 or 2020 net income to replace the loans. Loans received after March the 3rd of 2021 can use their 2019 or 2020 gross income if they use their gross incomes to apply. Right? So I just want to make sure that we talk about this. So the deadline has passed. Any company that's looking to access the remaining funds of the program, whether in bankruptcy or not, they needed to have applied already. So as of this broadcast, the time has passed. Time has passed. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, and you know, it is not a game. It is something that is serious. Something that is serious. I'm not sure if you guys remember the group Pretty Ricky. We're going to talk about Pretty Ricky. Specifically, one of the members named Baby Blue and his PPP loan fraud case and what he's going through. One of the reasons why I'm doing this particular topic. So we're going to do this. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with more of the program Dom McKay in the Morning on the all-new RadioOnFire.com.
Giving you more talk, more news, and more music. It's Radio on Fire.
And we are back. Your man Dom McKay in the Morning on the all-new RadioOnFire.com. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, on all social media, I am at The Dom McKay Show. So depending on the circumstances, the federal government might charge people accused of defrauding the PPP under the following provisions. 15 USC 645, which is making a false statement to the SBA. This can result in a fine of up to $5,000 or up to 2 years in prison. So there's a lot of different factors that go into the severity of the punishment. But we're talking about federal stuff. So some people are thinking, oh, it's only $20,000. Some people getting $20,000. Some people getting even more than that, hundreds of thousands. Understand this. The feds don't play about their money. The feds are like the mob, right? They're coming back for it. Now, whether it's right away or whether it's later on, you're running the risk of having problems. You're running the risk of having problems. So there have been accusations. The Justice Department has brought criminal charges to at least 209 individuals in 119 cases related to Paycheck Protection Program's stuff. Like it's serious. Like it's not a joke. It's not a joke. And this number is continuing to go up. So you definitely want to avoid PPP loan fraud charges. You definitely want to avoid that. So I was talking about the member of Pretty Ricky, and you remember the R&B group Pretty Ricky, and I think they actually were on one of the Love and Hip Hop. I believe it was Miami. Pretty Ricky was on there. Anyway, Pretty Ricky, the guy's name is Baby Blue, member of that group. He publicly addressed his loan fraud case for the first time, a few days ago. And he took to social media and he warned his followers to stay away from PPP loans and advised them, in order to avoid possible legal trouble, just stay away from it. So he made a statement and he told viewers to deny any offer to apply for a PPP loan. And he cited that ignorance is not a proper legal defense. This is true. Ignorance is not a proper legal defense. And so he continued and informed followers and people that could hear him that it is illegal to use PPP funds for anything other than payroll. I mean, to me, it should be obvious. Paycheck is in the title. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be for. So you're running a risk because they have these guidelines, and you're running a risk. Maybe you'll get away, maybe you won't. He added that the government monitors spending closely and advises those who have received PPP loans to return the money. So he said you should return the money. He continued, in my opinion, the best way to stay safe from everything going on surrounding these PPP loans is just stay away from them. Don't discuss them with anyone. Don't give anyone your information. Don't attempt to do it yourself. It's not worth it. You can repair your credit and get a conventional loan from your local bank. Don't get caught up in this PPP thing because it's not worth it, the singer said. Baby Blue, the singer from Pretty Ricky, is set to plead guilty in his fraud case, where he's accused of filing fraudulent PPP loan applications for luxury items he used them for. Yes, his case is extreme. He did a lot. And he says that he wanted to take a second to use his platform to tell people, if anyone approaches you with an offer for a PPP loan, simply tell them no, thank you. Tell them no, thank you, he says. He continued, don't even have the conversation. It's not worth it. Walk away and keep your freedom. It's illegal to use the funds for anything. Just don't take the risk. And if I'm too late and you already received a PPP loan, give the money back. Do the right thing. I would hate to see anyone else get in trouble with the law from this moving forward. I'm extremely remorseful in stating this and hope someone reads this message and makes the right decision. So the singer he's definitely singing a different song. You saw what I did there? He's definitely singing a different song now compared to what he was doing before. So and there are plenty of other people aside from the singer from Pretty Ricky. Yeah, plenty of other folks that have gotten into this foolishness. A lot of other folks A lot of other folks. Now, some people are talking about this is just for the folks that had large amounts of money. There's folks that had $4 million worth. Folks that were charged for having submitted multiple fraudulent PPP loan applications. Multiple. And some folks were submitting them on behalf of shell companies, submitting false information and doing it multiple times, and then spending the majority of the loan proceeds on luxury items, cars, designer goods, and such. There have been multiple schemes or folks charged this year. I'm looking at some charge documents now. Folks charged with participating in multiple schemes to defraud multiple institutions by filing bank loan applications and fraudulently sought for forgivable PPP loans guaranteed by the SBA under the CARES Act. So they said in this one, numerous false and misleading statements about business operations. Don't think you can move like Donald Trump and just inflate and deflate your net worth. It may not work out for you the same way that it worked out for the former president in whatever he was allegedly doing. So anyway, so several of these folks, one of these cases that was filed in May 14th to be exact. Multiple people on this charge, and they're charged with obtaining $2 million in pandemic-related unemployment benefits using information third-party victims then posted photos of themselves on social media in which they were fanning large sums of cash. Look at that. $2 million there. Another one, $14 million. Conspiracy, multiple defendants. These people allegedly distributed the proceeds in a series of bank accounts located in the United States and elsewhere. Charged with submitting fraudulent PPP loan applications, getting $14 million. Another case, single defendant, close to $300,000. Funds intended for a pharmacy company located in Idaho. Allegedly received payments from the Illinois Department of Employment Security, and then allegedly worked with a co-conspirator who allegedly received funds intended for the pharmacy company located this time in Colorado. And then the two shared proceeds together, as I said, close to $300,000. So another one, $350,000. This case filed in April 2021, allegedly using these funds to pay down credit card debt, pay off loans for residential pool, a minivan, a dog breeder, and some other personal expenses. $350,000. This guy is a senior executive employee at NASA, charged with submitting this fraudulent application allegedly for over $350,000. We have another one to over $2 million. Over $2 million submitting multiple PPP loans with duplicate information. Then misused them by transferring the proceeds to an online brokerage and buying various securities. That's stock, right? You didn't think he was going to get caught? Like, what was he doing? Here's another case, and this one was filed back in February, And this is for, I don't want to say just, but this is for $37,000 and some change. Charged with intentionally misappropriating government funds that were designed to aid medical providers in the treatment of patients suffering from COVID-19 and then used them for her own personal expenses. The indictment is the first to include criminal charges for intentional misuse of provider relief funds intended to provide relief to healthcare providers. That was $37K. Charging her with embezzlement of government property. Here's another one for $41,000. They're being charged with wire fraud, fraud in connection with major disaster or emergency benefits. That is 18 USC section 1343 and 1040. So this person, like I said, it's $41,000 and charged with allegedly submitting the EIDL application for a business that does not exist. That does not exist. And I said this is $41,000. I'm going to say only $41,000, but this is the government's money, and they're coming back for that. They're coming back for that. Last case I want to talk about. This is they're charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So conspiracy to commit wire fraud, false statements, and aggravated identity theft. So 3 people in connection with this scheme, charged with submitting disaster loan and grant applications for non-existing businesses. A business that's non-existent. These 3 people allegedly filed more than 300 online applications on behalf of others that included false statements. So these are one of those groups that were, yeah, you want me to submit a PPP loan for you? You want me to submit something for you? You want me? I can submit it for you. They got $1.6 million, but they submitted over 300 applications. So they're not in just bad shape, and it goes on and on and on. There are several cases like this: wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, monetary transactions in criminally derived property, bank fraud. These are words that you just don't want to see. These are words that you just don't want to see, and I don't want this to be you. Now, you could legally have a right to it, and you're good. I'm talking about people who are not. So if you applied and this is something that you should have in your business, and everything adds up, and you know what it is, you know what's what. I'm talking to the people who are not doing it the right way, because this ain't what you want to do. Right? This ain't what you do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire, of course, Diamond K in the morning. I am here daily, 8 a.m. A lot of different topics. As I said here on the program, we deliver the biggest political and trending news stories of the day. Original reporting from across the country, emanating from our studios in Baltimore and Atlanta. Shows fun, shows upbeat. It wasn't like that today. Black Voices giving you the American story. It's a hell of a story. As I said, you can always check out past episodes of the program, Diamond K in the Morning. Get breaking news and adult conversations covering topics that are important to Black culture. Visit radioonfire.com for our original radio, podcast, and TV programs. You want to support Diamond K in the Morning or Radio on Fire, anything that we do here. We're able to deliver our news and our views on the show because of our listeners, sponsors, and of course your donations. Visit radioonfire.com/donate to help continue to push this independent machine. On social media, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire.
Follow us on all social media